What's up, my fellow devs? Welcome back to the dev shop. So as I mentioned in the previous video that we are coming up to our first game jam, and with that, and because of we are still in dev preview, we want to make sure that we have workarounds and kind of a good flow for making sure that you're having a good time in the engine for the game jam. So this video is going to be a quick tip on how to load levels. Now, if you're coming from Lumberyard, it's more or less the same, but let's go over some of the differences and how we actually load levels inside of O3DE. So as you guys know, we use prefabs, and our levels are actually prefabs as well. As you can see here, up by level, you have YouTube world.prefab. That is my main level that I work in for my tutorials. Now, if I was to go up to File and go to Open Level, Recent, I have another one called YouTube VFX, which is the same level, except I just colored the shader ball a different color to signify that the level has changed. Now, through my limited testing, it looks like there was a carryover from Lumberyard where you have to actually build out run the game itself, whether through the game launcher or through a release build, to see that it actually changes to the next level. I really hope that this changes in the future. This was something I didn't really like. It kind of breaks your flow when you're working on the game, testing, and you have to stop and build your game out just to test its switching levels. But as you can see, if I click on my level, I have a script on it called test2. And I also have one on the other level called just test. So if I open up this script canvas, I'm going to show you guys the code on how to load levels. And then we'll test it out by running our game launcher. All right, so here we are in test 2 for our empty script canvas for our level change. So it's a very, very simple script that we're going to do to test it out. We're going to run it on the game start, and we're going to use a console command to execute changing of the levels. All right, so let's go ahead and get our start. So on graph start. All right, and to give us enough time, I'm going to actually call a delay, just to give us some time to see. I'm going to start, and the delay node is actually a little bit more robust in O3DE. We actually have on start, on reset, on cancel, and we also have a done. So we're going to use the done. So we're going to run a course of 2 seconds. And when it runs that course, we're going to go here to execute whatever we put here. So let's go ahead and exe. And we're going to go execute console command. All right. And here it's still the same if you're coming from Lumberyard. Minor differences. So this one is actually called load. Sorry, I can't spell. Load level, capital L's. And then we're going to space, and then the command afterwards is actually going to be your levels. So this coincides with how you should have your project folder structured. So we go to our file, and under levels, as you can see here, load level, we're going to go to levels. Since we're in the second map, we want to load YouTube world, and we want to look at YouTube world.prefab, but we're actually going to call it a spawnable to let them know that we want to actually load that level. So what that's going to look like is, I'm actually going to copy and paste from the previous one. But as you can see, so load level, and then we have our folder structure. So levels, YouTube VFX, and we're going to change this to YouTube world since we're already in the VFX level. And then we're also going to change this to world. So that coincides with, again, project YouTube levels, YouTube world, and then the YouTube world.prefab, but in this case we're going to use a .spawnable. All right, and that's what we have here. Now in the first level, if I go to this one, we actually have the same code. So it's actually going to run load level, levels, YouTube VFX.spawnable after 3 seconds. So let me save that. So as I said before, if I was to try to play this now, it's not going to run. It's going to stay on this level. That's the nature of the engine. Again, as I said, I hope that switches in the future. And it's probably a carryover from Lumberyard. So what we actually have to do, and we don't have to do too much because we actually built out the profile build for our project. And that is essentially the engine as it is now. What I mean is we can actually go to our project, our build, bin, profile, and then we can actually run this here, or whatever yours is called. Mine's is called project YouTube.game launcher. We can actually run this. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm gonna show you guys the command, and then when it loads up, I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like. All right, so here we are inside of our bin profile. All I did was CMD into that folder. So if you guys don't know how to do that, hit here. As you can see, I hit CMD, hit enter, and then it creates a command line at that path. All right, so from here, we want to call our project YouTube.game launcher exe. So project YouTube.game launcher.exe. And for me, since I can't run DirectX 12 on this system, I'm gonna have to change my RHI to Vulkan. And then after that, you just want to do another command that disables connecting to the asset processor, that you won't have any issues with trying to compile assets while you're testing your game. That command looks like this. All right, so once you have that, you're going to hit enter, and it should open up your. Now, once you have that, this should open up your project in a standalone window, and we should see our level switching after 2 and 3 seconds. Here we are. As you can see, my level is switching after 2 and 3 seconds. All right, guys, and the last thing I want to show you guys is actually loading a level from the jump. So maybe you want to load the main menu. Maybe for testing, you want to load a different map out altogether without having to change the map. All right, and to do that, we're going to actually go into our folder again. I'm actually going to close this. And we want to navigate to our root folder and look at the autoexec.cfg. Now, this is also carry over from Lumberyard. I'm not sure how much longer this is going to actually be a staple within the engine, but for now it works. So when you first see this, it's going to be empty. Mine isn't empty because I've already put the code in there, but it's essentially the same line that you put in for the command line for the script canvas. I'll open this inside of Notepad. As you can see, I have load levels, YouTube world.spawnable. So that loads the first level. That's how you guys saw the black ball first. If I was to switch this to the VFX, it'll load the red ball first. So anytime you want to change your startup level, this is where you would change it. All right, guys, so I hope you enjoyed that video. A very quick tip of how to switch out the level, how to load a level from jump using the autoexec.cfg. Hope that this can actually help you in your journey with the game jam and beyond. If you guys have any questions or comments, let me know down below. Don't forget to follow me on my Discord, the official O3DE Discord, Twitter, all social medias to keep up with the engine and what's going on. If you guys want to support the channel, all that is in the description down below. Other than that, hope you guys are having a very dope day. Hope you guys are prospering in your projects. And until next time, keep developing.